All right. So I've been looking at foreclosure stuff, and I found this one spot, 25 grand for 10 acres. Half of it is wooded, and it has one septic on it already. It has a site for another septic. It has cable hookup, so you can have high-speed internet. It has a telephone hookup. What else? I think it's on city water. You could probably also drill a well there because it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And it has a 28-foot by 29-foot garage already built on the property. I saw pictures of the garage. It's really nice. And it used to be used for, like, car repair. So inside the garage, they have car lift and air compressor stuff and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And all that's for 25 grand because it's on a foreclosure.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Foreclosure is great.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, that kind of stuff. But that's like 2.5 hours away from where we're at. And for a man with no car, that's a problem.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no car.
Arman, I need a ride.
Take me to work every day. Be there in 2 hours.
Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome, guys.
This is episode 26. 2,600. Should we move to daily podcasts? 3 podcasts a day?
Probably do that.
We probably could. Let's think about that when I get back and we're physically together. Because right now the time difference is a real pain in the ass. Right now it's 1:30 in the morning, I think, or 2 o'clock. Yeah, it's 1:31 in the morning. What time is it over there?
Might as well be 3 o'clock in the morning for me. It's 12:38 p.m. right now.
Yeah, okay. So it's lunchtime for you, so you just woke up.
Yeah.
You people.
Ew, people. But, thought I had a thought in my head. Do you have anything to talk about today?
No, you think too much. I was just thinking about how good the food was. I just got back from France, 2 weeks in France. And I have to say some things about it. So first of all, everyone that I talked to about going to France, so of course, when I decided I was going to go to France, I talked to my French friends and I talked to friends who had been to France, and everybody told me Paris was a shithole. Everyone did.
I have family in France.
Yeah, Paris was beautiful, dude. Paris was awesome. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, loved Paris. The food was incredible. Around every single corner, there's a bakery that has amazing food every morning. You can't go there in the afternoon. They sort of run out of food in the afternoon, which is okay, I guess. But, dude, you know I like sandwiches, all right?
Yeah, you do.
And these bakeries, man, they make fresh sandwiches every morning using baguette bread, and it's the simplest thing in the world, and they're really cheap. They're like €3, cheap. It's cheap for Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a 12-inch baguette, and inside the baguette, there's like a few pieces. There's like one layer of thick-cut ham, and then another layer of like thick-cut Swiss, and then a heavy layer of butter, and that's it.
Butter.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so good. It was so good. So every morning I would go over to one of those bakeries at like 8 or 9 a.m. I'd get like 3 sandwiches, a couple of croissants, a baguette, and then because the restaurants are really expensive, the restaurants are where you get crushed. I mean, every item at the restaurant's like 15 to 30 euro, and the 15 euro is gonna be like one slice of pizza. So we just ate at these bakeries, and we went to grocery stores, and we just got stuff from grocery stores.
Smart move.
Yeah. So I probably only spent like 600 euro in 2 weeks. It's pretty chill.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 to 2,000 for if you're going out every day.
Oh yeah,
More.
yeah.
It adds up, you know.
I mean, if you were going to the restaurants, you could easily spend more than 200 euro a day. And I did like probably 600 euro in 14 days, 15 days. I'm not sure. But Nice, we went to Paris and then Bordeaux, then Nice. We actually didn't see any of Bordeaux because we were just there for 3 days, 2 nights, and we basically just stayed in bed the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But then we went to Nice, and we spent like 6 days in Nice. Nice is gorgeous. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Even in fucking February, mid-February, the place is warm enough where if it's a sunny day, you can wear a t-shirt and jeans. The water is light blue, crystal clear, beautiful. I really want to go there in the summertime. We had a hotel with a balcony looking over this street that was 1 block away from the ocean, so you could sort of see the ocean from the balcony, not very well, but it was right there. Like you could almost hear it. And just amazing food in all directions. And every morning I would go out and I'd get breakfast, like a bunch of sandwiches and shit. And we would go get stuff from the grocery store, like milk and juice and spreads like jam and Nutella and stuff. And then we'd sit on the balcony, eat breakfast. And the hotel was pretty cheap. It was like, I think it was like 20 or 30 euros a night. It's pretty sweet, man.
I never been to France. Seems like more just like a city lifestyle, but it's like open and it has like gardens and shit. That's what I think or imagine.
Yeah, Nice is a big city, but it feels very small. It feels very small. I could, like, if I was a wealthy man, I could easily see myself sitting on that balcony every day, just eating my sandwich and taking a bite of the baguette with some Nutella and jam on it, and drinking my milk. Fresh milk, oh my God, it's so good. But this is one of the reasons I'm so excited to come back to America, just to have these things available. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Be able to go to the store and buy a pound of turkey or a pound of ham and buy a baguette and buy some Swiss cheese, go home and make your own sandwiches and enjoy the beautiful Maryland weather, see the sunny blue sky, all that shit.
It's a great place over here.
Pardon me, everybody. I've been sick for like fucking 3 months now. Anyway, what'd you do for Chinese New Year?
Chinese New Year, I did absolutely nothing, but I saw some people dancing the lion dance in the mall.
What lion dance?
It's just that's what it's called. It's like with those dragons, and they're like moving around and stuff.
I have no idea, man. Is that
typical,
Chinese?
you know, it's definitely Chinese.
Hey, man, I've only been here for 4 years. Don't expect me to know anything about the culture.
Yeah, you caught me off guard. Like, what? But yeah, I don't really celebrate Chinese New Year. We have a friend.
I don't have any friends. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we know this guy.
I hate everybody.
We know the same guy, but he's half Chinese. I haven't been over there.
Are you talking about the guy who has kids now?
No, he doesn't. No, not that guy. He's not.
He's half Korean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was making sure you're talking about the. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, continue.
But no, I guess I went to parties in Chinese New Year.
That's all right.
I celebrated. I was in a festive mood, you know.
Nice. You still going to parties around the college, or are you an adult now? Are you going to bars?
Both actually. Mm-hmm. But they're only like 4 years younger than me.
So it's not creepy yet.
Yeah. No, it's not creepy.
Once you hit the big 30, then it's creepy as fuck.
Yeah, that's when I'm gonna settle down with a wife and buy her.
Get the fuck out of here,
Arman. First mortgage.
Get the fuck out of here. Please don't. Please, God.
I'm kidding. Jokes. This man's gonna be single forever.
God, I hope
I'm gonna be a bachelor.
I don't know about single, but I definitely don't want to get married.
No, having
For any
I
reason.
had a I uh, I had a discussion with somebody the other day, and I was like, it was if it didn't go right, it would have been a horrible discussion, but it was smooth. It was smooth, and I was just trying to tell him like I support dating for the fact that you should just stay dating and like if you don't know what to do, you should just date
Mm.
and you should always keep your options available just in case the relationship like folds or whatever. And like the thing that was the point that I was trying to make to
Pardon me.
the person,
Yeah.
no problem. The point that I was trying to make to the person was that you could still have your options available to see somebody else when you're dating, but not when you're in a full on relationship.
Well, yeah, obviously. I agree with what
Yeah.
you said, but for a different reason. Because no matter how important a relationship is, no matter how ugly a breakup is,
Things,
it's always better than divorce.
yeah, and getting too caught up into a situation and then it spirals down, it gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
Um,
I also don't see any benefit in getting married. I don't see the cost benefit analysis working out for me. I don't see how I think the only reason to get married is if you're going to have kids. And I don't want kids, so I feel like there's no reason to get married. Pardon me. Goddamn animal over here.
um, yeah, continue. So like,
That's it.
no
All right,
kids.
that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
I don't want kids, so I don't want to get married. I don't see the benefit in getting married.
That's pretty much the only reason to getting married, I think, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Having kids. And
Also,
I mean,
I think that there's a lot of people in the world who get lonely very easily, but I don't. I really enjoy being alone. It's
I
not
don't mind it.
yeah, it's not like time alone is not time that upsets me, that I lament.
Yeah.
And
It
yeah, yeah, go
I
on.
don't want to say people are weird, but like there's like little things in about people that not necessarily tick me off or like it just I get a weird vibe from some certain things like oh they're like oh my god I don't want to sound like an asshole but
What
they're
an
like oh my
asshole.
god no when you hear what I say you'll be like he's an asshole now
What a piece of
um
shit.
they're like oh my god I just want somebody to cuddle with blah blah this and this and this and this and I'm like you have to earn that like that's some like marriage type shit
Wait, cuddling?
and no not like not just cuddling but like they went on and on they're like I want them to do everything for me stuff like that
Yeah, yeah.
and I was
Princess.
like
You're
that
talking to a princess.
really yeah I was talking yeah they were like really clingy and stuff and I was like ugh I just cringed and like
Get away from me.
I was like no go away
Sorry about that.
so
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So I like cuddling as much as the next guy,
yeah
but
me too
it gets every relationship or some relationships I should say get to a point where of codependency, and that's usually where I feel like I need to run away. If I ever feel like I need this other person, I feel like we're too close.
yeah it's kind of a defensive mechanism you know
Yeah, absolutely it is. You know. Also, I've been successful alone.
yeah you can only like you can't love anybody if you don't love yourself.
Yeah. Well, also, at the end of the day, I'm 100% sure I can take care of myself no matter what happens. A fucking meteor could strike the Earth tomorrow. We could go into full-blown apocalypse. I'll be okay. I'm not worried about it. But if I suddenly have a family, oh man, I'm so fucked.
Which I was thinking, what was that movie that where the cloud comes and like these monsters come and there's this guy that I'm going to ruin the movie. Well, he has to
Wait, what
survive
movie?
with his family. It's like The Mist or something. It's called The Mist.
Yes, great movie.
Yeah. So he has to survive with his family, and I'm just gonna spoil it. Spoiler alert. Skip 10 seconds after this. He doesn't do a very good job.
Well, he does do a good job, but then he... yeah, I don't want to spoil it either. Mist has one of the best endings ever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But
everyone go see that fucking movie. But the point is, he does his best, okay? He does what he believes is appropriate with the information he has.
yeah, he does. I mean, he's the protagonist in the movie. You know, there's a little bit hope in what he does. He, yeah, great
Arman,
movie.
let me ask you
Perfect.
something.
Yeah,
Okay? Do you ever get
yeah.
the feeling like you want to just run off to the mountains and live in a bunker?
um, no, I want to run off. Well, kind of. I want to run off to a fucking apartment. No, not a bunker. Never a bunker. I don't. Why?
Well, all right. So what do you think I mean by bunker? Because when I say
Isolate.
bunker, I mean fast internet and connection with the outside world and like
Oh,
all the amenities you could ever want.
sorry, that was my phone alarm.
Yeah, of course it was. I don't
But
mean to be isolated wood people, forest people. I'm not saying go become Ents. I'm just saying sometimes I get such an intense urge to disconnect from society. And sometimes I get so paranoid about society ending.
dude, I've been trying to isolate myself for the past like 6 months, but I have these group of friends that just are like always, come out, come out, come out, come out, let's party, let's party, let's party.
Those social
And
bastards.
right, he's so social. He's the most social person I've ever met.
I
He's a
hate those
great guy,
people.
but he's like so social.
No, people like us need those people, though.
I know, and it hurts my fucking being to say that. Like, so I've been trying to isolate myself. We'll talk about the bunker and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't get me wrong. When I get back, we can isolate. We can be isolated together. That doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean.
no, no homo.
We can sit in the same room with each other and pretend the other person isn't there.
Hey, we're gonna video game it up, I guess.
Oh,
But
fuck yeah.
so this guy, every part of my being wakes up in the morning just like, I just want to be. I'm gonna be alone today. I'm just gonna play the shit out of some video games. Probably just sleep or nap for another 3 hours.
You
It's 12
bastard.
o'clock already.
You lazy bastard.
um, I just don't want to do shit. But and then instantly when I'm like, oh, that's such a horrible lifestyle, he calls and he's like, all right, this is what we're doing today. Blah blah. Get your fucking ass out. Let's go. hurry, hurry, hurry. so so I've replaced being a lazy bastard and not doing absolutely shit with my life with having a really good social life and meeting tons of people. I've met producers, I've met artists, um, great other females and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
every asshole says
So
he's a producer and an artist at a party, Arma. All right.
no, I
Bring me to
haven't.
a party and I'll say all sorts of dumb shit. I am Steven Spielberg.
I'm one of the 5 best rappers alive.
I am Samuel L. Jackson. That's right.
But it's been good though. I needed it. It's weird in where I'm at. Like, you know me. I've been pretty, like, I'm actually like a sociable person.
Yeah, sometimes.
But really, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Arman, you're talking to somebody who spent like literally weeks of playtime with in World of Warcraft. Don't tell me you're a social butterfly all of a sudden. Slash played 6 months.
Jeez. Well, okay, well,
here comes some denial.
video games aside, I don't know. I guess I've always been social, but anyway, what I was trying to say is like I had to break a shell for the past like 4 months.
Hard on the outside, soft on the inside.
Yeah, and
do you have a nougaty filling? Is there
soft,
is there some caramel?
fucking soft caramel, yeah. But it was difficult to fucking break that shell. But if I didn't have like a social circle or whatever to help and whatever. But it was weird. It was like I never really had a problem with being social until I really wanted to be like alone and just spend time alone. But I was forced to be more social. So it's like I guess I'm developing better social skills, I guess, in a way, you know?
Fuck social skills.
It's important. It's good.
Up to a level. Like, sorry, everybody. Oh, God. I just like an endless amount of phlegm in my lungs. Goddamn breathing in this China. Anyway. There's 2 extremes. There's 2 sides of it. Like here, my Chinese students, because they spent literally their entire formative life in school or in private school or at home studying, they're incapable of having friendships. They're incapable of making new friendships. They are totally social shut-ins, and they are painfully awkward. And I struggle to imagine that they'll be able to go to other countries and interact with normal people. By normal, I mean people who have had some degree of social experience. I struggle to imagine that they'd be able to do that.
Yeah, well, if it's anything like us playing video games constantly and just having like 1 or 2 friends.
No, it's so much more extreme than that, Arman.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I'm talking about from the age of kindergarten, they spend almost every waking moment doing something related to school. And it only gets more intense as they get older and older. And so, like, middle school is the last time when they have the opportunity to have friends. And by friends, I mean, you know the guy who sits next to you, who has the desk next to you in school. That's your best friend. And that person has to be your best friend because you're not allowed to switch desks. And that's the only time you see another human being who's not related to you.
Okay.
And then by the time you get to like the end of middle school and high school, you spend like 8 or 9 hours a day in school during the week. You spend like 12 hours a day in private school on the weekends. And then you go directly from school home so that you can do your like 8 or 9 hours of homework and then get a couple hours of sleep and go back to school. So it's so much more extreme. Because even if you replace that time commitment with video games, like World of Warcraft, at least you're still playing with other people and you're still interacting with other people.
Yeah. So it's a bad life. I mean, I get it.
It's rough. But there's the other end of this. Like, so the point I was making is that it's not useful in life to be such a shut-in. But then there's the other end of the spectrum where people, the social butterflies who go to every party and they have thousands of friends, but they don't actually have any friends. They just know thousands of people. And it's unlikely that that enormous network that they're very vaguely connected to is going to actually help them at any point in life.
No, that is a fact.
So I think that we probably tend toward the shut-in hermit side of things, but I'd say we're pretty close to center.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hardcore video games and hardcore parties. That's about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Just nothing in moderation. If I'm going to go to the party, it's going to ruin my life. If I'm going to play a game, it's going to be World of Warcraft.
Sounds normal to me.
If I'm going to go to the party, I'm going to wake up in jail.
Oh, party you say? Oh, I plan on blackout. I'm gonna get a great nap.
Did you bring the explosives?
Jeez. So life's good.
Life is good. And there's so much uncertainty. Like, that's what we were talking about before the podcast, is that I sort of feel like I felt before I came to China, where this next part of my life is very uncertain. But I have the same attitude that I had before I come to China. I'm going to make it work. I made China work, and I'm going to come back to America. I'm going to make that shit work. I'm just going to figure it out.
To optimism. I don't think I've heard you be such an optimist.
I've always have been, Arman. You just weren't listening.
Damn, that's deep.
That's okay. Nobody listens. Like most geniuses, I go unappreciated.
Oh, yes. Einstein's quote, "Great minds have always dealt with opposition."
Fuck off. Stop making up Einstein quotes.
That's literally his quote.
Hey, you know what Abraham Lincoln said, right?
Huh?
You know what Abraham Lincoln said?
Fuck you.
He said, "Don't believe everything you read online, okay?"
Oh, shit.
Did I tell you about these apples I have?
No.
So
Grocery apples?
No, for Christmas, for some reason sorry. For some reason, Chinese people interpret apples to be associated with Christmas.
Okay.
We may as well. I'm just not that familiar with our traditions, our voodoo, in our Western capitalist pig dog societies. Anyway, and so it's very common for around Christmas for people to give each other apples as a gift that means, like, longevity and health and all that bullshit.
Even through winter or something.
I don't know, but I mean, it's the dead of winter, so I don't know where they're getting bright red apples from. But
right?
Yeah, exactly. So not a lot that goes on here makes much sense. There's no reason to question anything anymore. Anyway,
Could have been a banana.
It's normal. It could fucking be anything. It could be a shoe. Anyway, so it's normal that my students will give me like 1 or 2 apples. So like, maybe 1 or 2 students will give me an apple around Christmas time. I'll have a couple apples, but that's the point. Yeah, I'm allergic to apples, so I can't eat them unless they're cooked, right? And so, for some reason, this year, even though I've been working at this school for 3 years and I didn't do it any other years, this year my school gave me a case of apples. All right, let me say that again. A case of apples. They gave me like 60 apples. Like an enormous, heavy-ass box of apples. And I brought it back to my apartment, and my boss doesn't speak very good English, which causes some hilarious and tragic issues in my life. But usually it's good. But the point is, I was at her office, like, signing some bullshit, and she's like, "Oh, there's some apples there for Christmas for you." And I'm like, "This box?" And I open the box. I go to take an apple. She's like, no, they're for you. I'm like, "They are for me?" Meaning all of them? And she's like, "Yes, apples for Christmas." And I'm like, "There's like 60 apples in this box. It's a full case of apples." And she's like, for you. I'm like, "Oh, fuck." And I looked around the office. I'm like, there's no other box of apples. So I'm like, okay. I throw this giant box of apples on my shoulder and I lug it back to my apartment. And I have a group chat with all the other teachers here at the school. And I'm like, hey, blah, 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 the teacher, the boss's name. I'm like, blah, blah, just gave me a fucking shitload of apples. I think she meant for me to distribute the apples amongst the other teachers. Because, again, she doesn't speak very good English, so you often have to, like, fill the gaps. Like, she said this, but I think she means this. And then they messaged me back and they're like, no, we got apples too. So the school distributed hundreds of apples to the teachers for some reason. But I'm allergic, so I've been giving away apples for weeks. And right before I left for France, I knew that the apples would probably go bad soon. So I skinned them and chopped them up. I still had like 25 apples left. And then I put them into plastic bags, the chopped up apples, and I put them in my freezer. And so I had my girlfriend order some nutmeg and some cinnamon, and she's ordering some pie crust, so I'm going to make some apple pies.
Nice.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I could probably make the pie crust from scratch, but who the fuck do you think I am? Who do you think I am? Somebody who worked in a kitchen for years and years?
Jeez. Effort in the kitchen.
Yo, fuck that, man. If there's one thing working in a kitchen made me want to do is not cook ever again.
Right?
I think some people fall in love with it. I didn't.
Yeah. That's what everyone keeps saying. Like, oh my God, you know about cars and this and this? I'm like, yeah, but mind you, I don't want to do it. And they're like, oh my God, you should find a job.
Oh my God.
You should find a job and do it and like this and this and this. Why don't you do it? You're so lazy. I'm like, dude, if you know it's time for me to fucking retire that field.
Dude, why is it so easy to see logic in other people's lives but not your own? I feel like you're telling me the exact same story of that guy who made the Viking stuff for me. He made the Viking shield, he made the Roman gladius sword, he made the spear, and he made these incredibly high quality replicas. And I'm like, dude, this is the simplest thing in the world. You're like cutting the shit out of wood and painting it. Why don't you fucking sell these things? And the guy's absolutely convinced that he needs to go join the French Foreign Legion and be a soldier. I'm like, that is the worst plan I've ever heard in my whole fucking life. Please. He listens to this podcast. You know who you are, dude. And I just want the best for you. I don't think that if you're listening right now, I don't think that you should join the army. I know that I've told you this a million times. You could have a giant successful business, or all you do is make shields and swords, and it's the funnest thing in the world.
I met an artist.
Yes, that's what he is. I keep trying to convince him. I'm like, dude, you have a natural talent for art. People will pay you for this.
You know what I mean? Best of luck, regardless of anybody's decision to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like, I'm sure he will end up just go being a soldier, and best of luck.
Something I thought of was like, there's this artist that I met, and the advice I gave to him when he was like describing what he wanted to do, he was like explaining like, I really like art, I'm pretty good at it, and I just don't want to do anything else. And I'm like, well, here's the flip side to it. Like the positive, I guess, the only advice I could give to the guy, or like any positive feedback, rather, not advice. But I was like, well, since you're not doing anything else with your time, we're usually blunt. I didn't want to say with your life, and
yeah, we're very blunt people.
We are pretty fucking blunt. This is we're very blunt guys, if you haven't fucking noticed.
A lot of people think I come off as really rude because of that.
Yeah.
But I don't have fucking time to treat you like a baby for 20 minutes. If you're doing something I think is stupid, I'm just going to say, hey, this is stupid and this is why I think so.
We're just honest, and honesty is the best policy.
I agree. Anyway.
And
what were we saying?
Instead of saying, like, calling himself lazy, I was like, well, you distance yourself from other things, so it actually gives you the actual time that you can give and for that craft, and at least you have the time to give the correct amount of effort into the field, rather than some people that might be just doing it for other reasons. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I understand what you mean. At the end of the day, there's so many creative people in the world, and the real problem is monetizing your creativity.
Mm-hmm.
I've been attempting to monetize creativity for like a fucking decade now, and it's so difficult. Just fail at every turn.
Yeah.
But might as well keep trying, because at the end of the day, you can always be some asshole who's digging holes for $10 an hour.
You want to cut this?
Yeah, I think it's a good place to end it. Anyway, Thank you everybody for listening. It's been another episode of Bullshit and Video Games with Brian and Arman.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.